From New York City, it's Wendy Williams. Today, Wendy's Hot Talk panel gets heated as they take on today's biggest stories. Plus, love is in the air, and Dr. Rachel Ross is here for a special Ask Wendy, the Relationship Edition. And all the latest juicy hot topics. Now, here's Wendy.
Thank you, studio audience, for braving the elements. How you doing? But it's Friday. Okay, so a star on that Modern Family show says that the show is hurting his love life. Plus, there's already trouble in paradise for Shawn and Charlize Theron. And Drake is lashing out. I'll explain. Let's get started. It's time for what? Hot Topics! You know it. Nice. Yes, yes. Thank you. I love you back. So, the weather is still terribly snowy outside. The whole tri-state area here in New York is a mess, but despite it all, my co-hosts have turned up and turned it out. And I have to tell you, if you thought the bad weather was gonna keep the Wendy audience away, you were dead wrong. We've got so many Wendy watchers who came today that they're sitting in our overflow area. Hey, you guys! Yes, there they are! Yes, yes, yes! You made it. Thank you so much. I love my audience. You know, happy Valentine's Day, everybody. I got you all something a little special. And when I say you all, I mean even the people in our overflow audience area as well. Do you want to know what I got you? This stunning watch. This is good. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. They act like it's a car. I appreciate you being so grateful for this watch. Listen, this is a stunning watch. It's from Toy Watch Company. I'm such a, no, you guys do this to me all the doggone time. All right, look. No, I love you more. Listen to me, let me tell you about your watch. It's a stunning watch. It's from Toy Watch Company. Toy Watch, it's a toy watch, but it's a real watch. And it's valued at $295. They call this their Plastoramic model. The bezel is Swarovski crystals. And it's chic and the perfect gift for you. So every time you say, what time is it? You'll think of The Wendy Show. Our viewers at home, you can go to wendyshow.com for your chance to win a toy watch. All right, so what are you doing tonight, Valentine's Day and all? Are you gonna get all sappy and cry on me if you don't have a Valentine? Please don't get sucked into this holiday. You know, the hearts and the flowers and the going out for dinner, that's great. But you know what? If you happen to not have love in your life, take heart, dear heart. I've got something very exciting that I want to be doing with you. All right. It's actually a really exciting weekend here. I'll be all over the TV. Listen. No, look. Tonight on the ID channel. You know I love the ID channel. Okay. Tonight on the ID channel, they're showing a Valentine's Day special called 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. And it's hosted by me. And look, it's about, look. Listen. Listen, it's, wow, Antoine, you did a great job with this wig. That's the same wig, and then this is the same wig. I like it ruffly, Antoine. Look, it's about real women who've been done wrong, and they're determined to get revenge. Take a look at the tease, and then I'll tell you what time it comes on. Go ahead.
When your man does you wrong, you have a choice. You can get mad, you can get sad, or you can get even. Join me, Wendy Williams, for a Valentine's Day special that proves revenge can be oh so sweet.
50 Ways to Leave Your Lover premieres Friday, February 14th at 10.
So, I'm not going out tonight. I'll be watching 50 Ways to Leave Your Lover. And then tomorrow, Saturday, on Centric is kicking off their new series. It's called Being, and it profiles lives of celebrities and the way they started and where they are today. And they're starting with me. So I know they you know, where they call up people in your life, like your mom and your dad and old bosses and your peer group, and they say, well, you know, what's she like? And then my best friend from childhood, Regina's in it. I'm in it saying a little something, my mom and dad. Anyway, be sure to check that out. That's tomorrow night, Saturday night at 9 o'clock on Centric. All right, now, I love this new relationship going on with Sean Penn and Charlize Theron. I feel like Sean Penn has never looked happy consistently in all of my life knowing him through the TV. Look at this picture. That's her little son, Jackson. Jackson looks so tiny, like he should be riding the dog instead of walking with it, right? But would you look at Sean? Would you look at Charlize? Look at them on the beach. Normally, he'd be spazzing out at the paparazzi for doing something like that. He's been spotted bonding with Charlize's son, Jackson, and of course, Charlize, and I just think it's terrific. You know, he's 56 years old, 53 years old, and he's been such an angry man lashing out. And you know the famous Sean Penn paparazzi lash outs. He just lets them take their pictures. Look at him smile and hold in hands with his pigeon toes. But reportedly, the problem is not her son, little Jackson. It's her winning over Sean's kids, Dylan and Hopper. Well, see, Dylan and Hopper are grown. One is 20, the other's 22. They reportedly refused to even sit next to Charlize at a recent celebrity event. Well, you wanna know what? It ain't gonna happen, Charlize. I hate to say this, but in my mind, you know, once adults become adults and then parents start dating other people, you know, I think that a lot of adult kids have a difficult time accepting that their father or mother has moved along. And that will probably, especially to somebody hot and 38 with a son already, like you, Charlize. Aren't you team mom at your house? Like, are you team mom or team dad? If your mom and dad got divorced, whose team are you on? Mom. Sorry, daddy, I'd be on mommy's side too. And let me tell you something. If you started dating, chances are you'd be dating somebody around my age. You know, in other words, because I see the way younger women look at you. And mommy and I have talked about it. Now look, you're a very, very handsome man. My dad can still do 20 push-ups. He's about to be 83 on Sunday. But he dips into the room with his Robert Graham shirts and his Louboutin shoes, and all the girls, I see them. I see you look at my father. And if you and mommy ever got divorced and you started dating, I don't care who you started dating, unless she was your same age and not a friend of mommy's who'd been checking you out all along, I'm not accepting her. I'm not accepting, a girl my age into my father's life. You know, it's just not going to happen. But that shouldn't stop Charlize from continuing on with her relationship with Sean. However, and I don't have this experience, but I could not deal with a 5-year-old who couldn't stand me as the new man, as the new woman in a man's life. Because that's a lot of years that you have to deal with trying to coddle a 5-year-old to really like you. Fortunately, Jackson really likes Sean. If I were Charlize, I would stay focused on making Sean happy, and then possibly in 3 to 5 years, his kids that don't like you now might say, you know what, she might not be so bad. I've never seen daddy so happy. You know what I mean? It's tough, when you have kids and you're dating, But I just hope these two just go on and go to the altar and then, you know, just stay together forever. I love it. I love it. So, Drake is lashing out at Rolling Stone magazine. He's upset that the magazine took him off the cover at the last minute and replaced him with the dearly departed Philip Seymour Hoffman. You know what? First of all, Drake, too soon. Second of all, it happens. You know, things happen. The man passed away. You're still alive to make more music history, to be on the cover of whatever magazines you want. I mean, these are the kinds of things that happens. It's like, you know, here at Wendy, when we've just finished doing a terrific show with a terrific guest, but it's snowing outside, and so we're preempted in places, you know, where the snow is really impactful. I get upset too that, damn, we just had a good show and a good guest and good hot topics, and the people in Atlanta didn't even see it because they were preempted because of the snow. I get mad. The year that Whitney Houston passed away, I was supposed to be on, I never told you this story, I don't think, because I understand the circle of life. I was supposed to be on the cover of Ebony magazine, but Whitney passed away suddenly. And so she was on that cover. And I have yet to, you know, be on the cover. But I don't have sour grapes, and I'm not talking about, grow up, Drake. Grow up. Please. Do you watch that show, Modern Family? Yes. And now here in New York, it comes on in the reruns, so we get back-to-back episodes at like right after TMZ at 6:30. Well, Modern Family, one of the stars, Eric Stonestreet, he says that he's playing gay too good. You know, he plays gay on the show, but he's straight in real life. Did somebody say that's what he says? No, stop, he's a good actor. He's playing gay on the show, straight in real life, and he's saying that this is kind of getting in the way of him finding, you know, having luck with women. Well, he says it's because most women assume that he's gay, like his character. Well, that's what you call being a good actor, though. You know? I mean, if people are gonna assume that. Besides, I think that he might be looking for the wrong type of women to date. You need to, he's 43 years old, and he's been on this show for several years. This show ain't going anywhere anytime soon, and syndication will live in infamy like Seinfeld. So, if I were you, you know, and I don't know what kind of men you're dating, Eric, but you can't date these young Hollywood starlets, you know, oh my God. Like, you can't date the young girls with vocal fry. I know that might be what you want, because everybody, you know, loves girls like that. You know, the 22-year-olds and the 25-year-olds. You have to date more mature women. I say 40 years old and up, because I think that we would understand the difference between reality and your TV character. I don't know, or maybe a smarter 35-year-old or something like that. But you got to date a lot and date often. I don't think that you should have that much of a problem. You're on a hit show. You know? All right, good luck. So, you know, while I'm not a big sportsnista or anything like that, you know, I am big into my celebrities here where I live, you know, in the tri-state, you know. So like Derek Jeter, I think he's number 2. Look at me go. And the stats say that he's missed, the last season he missed like 17 games because he got hurt. Well, he recently announced that he's retiring from the Yankees after his 20th season, which will be next year. I know, I'm sad about that. Not so much about the sports part, because I don't really know much about sports stat. I'm sad because I miss him on the scene, dipping it and doing it and kissing those girls. Look, I'll miss him on the social scene, you know, here in New York. He's always in Page Six or, you know, whatnot. He dates all the pretty girls. He's back on the market now, though. Yeah, 39 years old. He just split from his model girlfriend, Hannah Davis. No, give Hannah a full screenshot. You've got to check her out. Right? And by the way, you don't have to tell her that she's hot, because judging by the way she's looking at us, she knows. I never heard of Hannah Davis until she started dating Derek Jeter. Well, it turns out she's a model, and she's been getting more and more popular since dating Derek Jeter. Derek has broken up with Hannah because Derek doesn't want a girl on the up climb. He wants a girl, I guess, like a nice, normal girl, maybe a girl with no career, maybe a girl who's ready to birth babies, because he mentioned in one of his press conferences or some article that I was reading about him leaving baseball that when he leaves, and by the way, he'll be 40 years old, that he wants a family, including a wife and kids, you know? And there's nothing wrong with him putting it out there like that. Some guys don't want a career girl. Some guys don't want you to be in school and have ambition like that. Some guys, and there's nothing wrong with this, I just appreciate the honesty from him. Apparently, he wants a girl to sit home, be barefoot, birth the babies, run the household, and there's nothing wrong. There's no laughter. There's nothing wrong with that. You know, he's being honest. What happens is he has a pattern of doing this. You know, he's dated the actress Minka Kelly, and all of a sudden, Minka's star started to rise, broke up with her. Vanessa Minnello, her star started to rise, he broke up with her. He just wants a girl to just and be beautiful, I guess, and get ready to have the babies. Nothing wrong with that. I was reading that Derek gives girls a baseball basket when they leave his house. You know, he puts them in the car service and sends them on their way. And there's a baseball basket sitting in the car. Hannah, did you get your baseball basket? No, don't cry for him. This man, you could probably go on eBay in like 5 years or more and sell these he signs the baseballs, and there's a bunch of Derek memorabilia in there. You could probably get an easy $20,000 from Derek Jeter. Yes. I've never met him, but I like him. Mr. and Mrs. Jeter have done a good job raising what seems like a nice man. Good luck, Derek. Jennifer Aniston's father. Do you watch The Days of Our Lives? Yeah. So you know who John Aniston is. He's been on the show for 29 years. One of my producers told me that John Aniston was in a coma his entire time of college. Like every time he turned on Days of Our Lives, John is still in a coma. So funny. Jennifer's dad, Mr. Aniston, reportedly is ready to retire, but Jen wants him to keep working. He's 80 years old. And reportedly, she wants him to take her advice and get back in and continue to work, continue doing what you love as long as you're able, is her motto. At first when I heard this story, I thought it was kind of selfish. Like at 80 years old, people deserve to sit down and enjoy the fruits of their labor. But on the other hand, when I think about it, like even with my own parents, once people retire, they become inactive and then they get sick real quick and then they, So it's a catch-22. I do think activity is really important. I think Mr. Aniston, though, listen, he's got to memorize pages of script, which, the older we get, the harder it is to memorize yesterday's dinner. He's got to memorize pages of script. He's got to get there on time for hair and makeup. He's got to put on the clothes, and then he goes back home. Whereas if he retired from Days of Our Lives, I think the agreement with Jennifer needs to be that her father must join the fraternity, or her father has got to, have a purposeful life outside of sitting in a house and watching TV. I know for my parents, my mom is the one. If it were up to my father, Daddy, I know. My father would sit inside writing the great American novel. He's been working on that since 1925. The great American novel. Oh, he loves to write. Go to the library and back home to write. And writers are weirdos. Hashtag, I'm a writer, my father's a writer, we're weird. But my father wouldn't go anywhere, and I know that about my father. It's my mother who's like, she's 78, but she's a spry chickadee. Oh, she still makes sure he gets off to his fraternity meeting, and I told you they're members of the Peeps. Those are the people from up here in New York and New Jersey who snowbird down to Florida. And then he escorts her to her women who lunch for no reason at all lunches. Yeah, there's an organization called that. My parents are involved with everything, but it's because my mother does it, and she does not want my father to just sit there and wilt. So I do wish you well in your decision, Mr. Aniston, but remember, sitting is for old people. Stay out there and stay active, even if you leave days of our lives. Oh, keep clapping. We have more great show for you. 3 outspoken personalities are gonna join me for our Hot Talk panel and break down the biggest stories of the week. Plus, from that show, The Doctors, one of the co-hosts, Dr. Rachel Ross, is here, and she's gonna join me in the audience for a special edition of Ask Wendy, the relationship conversation. But up next, in honor of Valentine's Day, it's time to celebrate with Celebrity Fan Out, the Heartthrob edition. Don't go far. In honor of Valentine's Day, it's time for Celebrity Fan Out, the Valentine edition. Let's get started. Okay, our first Celebrity Fan Out comes from DDC, who watches our show on WPMY in Cannonsburg, Pennsylvania. And Dee writes, "How you doing, Wendy? I'm a bartender at a restaurant, and one night we got a very special visitor. It was the hunky Channing Tatum." Wow. She says, he was in town filming a movie and stopped in for a bite to eat. When a song from the Magic Mike movie came on, he playfully got up and danced with the staff. He ended up staying until 2 o'clock in the morning. He was a lot of fun. That's a good one. Thank you. Okay. Our next celebrity fan out comes from Nettie A, who watches The Wendy Show in Brooklyn, New York on WNYW. Nettie writes, "Hey, Wendy, how you doing? I was on my lunch break with a friend when a gorgeous man with the most amazing skin walked past us into Dunkin' Donuts. It was Morris Chestnut." He was so nice to stop and get off his phone and take a picture of us. As you can see, Wendy, I held on for dear life. I didn't want to let him go. All right, here's another one. The next celebrity fan out comes from JM, who watches our show on KTTV in Los Angeles, California. Jay writes, "Hi, Wendy. I was at the Beverly Center in LA when I spotted a debonair man with the most gorgeous eyes waiting for his car at the valet stand. I just had to introduce myself. You can imagine my surprise when I realized it was Michael Ealy." Michael's even more handsome in person, she says. Our next celebrity fan out comes from Alyssa A, who watches The Wendy Show on KRIV in Houston, Texas. Alyssa writes, "How you doing, Wendy?" She said to read this dramatically, so here I go. "It was my first day as a waitress at Denny's when I kept making eye contact with the most handsome man I had ever seen. His gaze was piercing, and I was haunted by his masculine silence. When I asked for a picture, he wrapped his strong, yet gentle arms around me. I could feel his bulging pecs under his soft shirt. It was sheer ecstasy when I met Fabio." You are so dramatic, Alyssa. I can't take it. Fabio looks good for his age. He's been around since forever. Wow. Listen, if you've ever had an encounter with a celebrity and you want to share with us, go to wendyshow.com for all the deets. Up next, everybody, the Hot Talk panel is going to break down the week's hottest stories. Don't miss it. It's time to discuss this week's hottest topics in our latest edition of Hot Talk. Joining me today are the editor of Billboard magazine. Say hello again to our old friend, Joe Levy. Woo! And from one of my fave shows, Inside Edition, say hello to Megan Alexander. And TV journalist and host of Revolt TV, give it up for Sharon Carpenter. I'm glad all of you are here. Okay, so it looks like Tori Spelling is standing by her man, her husband Dean, who allegedly has confessed to cheating with 5 women that we know of. Dean's now in rehab addressing some personal issues, nothing about drugs, but personal issues. Megan, do you think that their marriage can survive this?
Look, I'm going to be the hopeless romantic. I think there is always hope, but marriage is hard work. Both people are going to have to work very hard. I appreciate that he admits he has a problem. Look, that's a start. Cheating with 5 women, not very good. But look, I for the sake of their 4 darling children,
I know.
I want them to work it out.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work out. First it was 1 woman, now it's 5. I mean, how many more women are we going to find out about? And it's not just the physical act of cheating, it's everything that surrounds that, the text messages, the phone conversations, the dinners, all the lies and deceit that he's been telling Tori to cover his tracks.
Yeah.
I think once it really sinks in, she's going to realize this can't work.
Well, she's 40 years old, just to put it in context, so she does have a life if by chance she decides to get divorced. Their youngest is, Flynn, is under 2. Joe, what do you say?
It doesn't look good. I mean, you know, we hold out hope, and sometimes after the earthquake, 12 days later, we find one person still living under the rubble. That would be this marriage if it survives.
Yeah.
It would be a miracle, I think.
And then there are rumors that he had unprotected sex with
that-
some of these women, which is putting her health at risk, the mother of his 4 kids.
Yeah.
Look, it's
That's
not going to be
unacceptable if that's
easy.
true.
It's hard work. They're going to have to both really want to make it work.
I don't mind working
You know, it would have
hard.
been
I
good
don't
if he
want-
put some of the hard work in on the front end.
Yeah,
By
exactly.
maybe not
Absolutely.
having sex with other ladies.
Exactly.
I think that would have been good.
Once the trust is gone, it's gone to that extent.
To that extent.
Yeah.
The speculation is that he is a sex addict. I don't believe in sex addiction. I've said that before. I think that's an excuse when a man or a woman gets caught out there to say that they have a problem. Do you believe in sex addiction?
Yeah. I mean, of all the addictions I've considered, it's the one that seems the most fun. But actually, if you take it seriously, it's not fun. It's a real compulsion. And cheating with 5 women wouldn't qualify as sex addiction. Not being able to get up in the morning and go to work without stopping along the way to do something wrong.
Right.
That would be
That
addiction.
would be the addiction.
Exactly.
All right, well, I just have to remind you all that, you know, sometimes how you get him is how you keep him. Keep in mind that these 2 were both married, he with children, and she was married with no children. They met on the set of a Lifetime movie, and that's how they fell in love. So perhaps part of Tori's concern is not just will he cheat again, but how she, you know, like life comes full circle is what I'm saying. I don't think it's going to work out. I wish she'd get a divorce. Let's move along. This month's Harper's Bazaar magazine has new Estee Lauder spokesperson. Congratulations, by the way, to Stephanie Seymour for getting that job. Yeah, she's the new face of Estee Lauder. Anyway, she is a supermodel, and she's causing some controversy because she did a photo shoot with her 2 sons. Not just any photo shoot. Take a look. This is some of the photos. All right, here's one. No, I showed these to my son, and he was just like, ew, ew. Okay, Sharon, is this fashion or is this freaky?
This is fashion if you're with 2 models. This is not fashion when you're with your 2 sons.
Yeah.
I mean, it's freaky, it's incestuous, and there are certain positions your son should never be in, and that's behind you with his crotch up against your butt.
Yeah.
And there's one photo like that. It's just
Let me remind you, before I go to you, Joe, and then you, Megan, that this is not the first time she's been, in my opinion, very inappropriate with her sons. Take a look at one of her sons with her on the beach in St. Bart's. You want to vomit. Like, really?
hand is on her breast.
I can't even deal. Megan.
Look, I have a young son. Would I pose with him this way? Absolutely not. But I will say this is their world.
Yes.
She's a supermodel. She's done this for 20+ years.
That's why they call it Holly Weird.
And her sons say that before they could even walk, they were playing with her jewels and her Dior clothes. They're used to mommy playing dress up. That's their world. In a sense, it's another day at the office for them. I wouldn't do it, but that's their life.
These obviously are 3 people who want attention, and they've got it. It is weird. It is weird. It is freaky. I think it is fashion. Is it any weirder than deciding, hey, my name is Kardashian, I'm going to put all my children on TV all the time? Every bit of their lives are going to unfold in public?
Well, that's a point. But this might be even a little weirder than that.
But what about suppose, would it be fashion if it was a man posing with his daughters in
No,
the same way?
because then
Can you
people would be
imagine?
looking at him pedophile-ish.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, I'm just going to say that has happened.
Yeah.
Before I worked at Rolling Stone, Steven Tyler and Liv Tyler were on the cover together.
Uh-huh.
She was leaning up to kiss him. You could see a lot of Liv when she did that.
Okay.
It was a little weird.
And you'll remember Hulk Hogan was slathering the grease on his girl's
That was
booty
weird.
on the beach.
That was strange.
That was
All right,
too
let's
much.
move to our next story. And the next story is about the college football player, Michael Sam, who made news earlier this week when he came out as being gay. He, if he's drafted by the NFL this April, he'd become the first openly gay, actively playing NFL player in the history. Joe, the question for you at the panel is, do you think that professional football is ready for this?
No, I don't. I think what we saw not very long ago in the bullying scandal that broke out of the Miami Dolphins is that professional football doesn't operate by normal rules of human decency. We're talking about men who are grown enormously large through means both real and artificial and paid an enormous amount of money, and they don't seem to think the rules of regular society apply.
I agree with Joe.
And I'm worried about this. On the other hand, I think that everyone knows the whole world will be watching what happens at this locker room on this team.
Yeah.
And I think that he will be safe.
Sharon,
This is
what do
the
you say?
thing. Yeah, I mean, there are players who've been supported by the NFL. They've been in trouble with the law for rape, for drunk driving, for domestic abuse. So why should sexual orientation be a problem? We're at a point right now.
It's a very good point, but I think that people these days are more feeling the pressure of their peers to go along with, oh, yes, it's great, you know, homosexuality, the NFL. I think that behind closed doors, more than 50% of people involved with this are lying. They're not accepting of it.
But
I
it's
think people
time
have
for
a
this
hard
to
time.
happen. Remember
It
that
is
when
time.
Jackie
It's
Robinson went to
time.
the major leagues, people weren't ready for that, and it was past time for
It
that
is
to
time.
happen.
Let me
We
just
need to get ready.
Let me just tell you this though. Sports Illustrated did a blind item poll with owners and of football teams, and the question was, he be hurt by the draft? And the owners all said yes. So it's horrible.
You know what the conversation should be about? Can he play football? And can
well,
he
yes,
play
yes,
football
he
well?
can.
And will he win games for his football team? It's a business. They're all professional athletes. I hope that people will take their cue from him. If he shows up, does his job well, that's what it's all about.
We'll
Treat it as a
be
job.
watching NFL. Up next, Lil Wayne gets a middle school teacher suspended. We'll talk about it with more Hot Talk Panel next. Talk panel. Okay, there's an 8th grade teacher who was suspended for asking her students to analyze the Lil Wayne song 6 foot, 7 foot, 8 foot, right. To find examples of puns, similes and metaphors. Parents became outraged because of the lyrics, and the teacher was ultimately suspended for a few days. Here's an example of some of the lyrics from the song. Never met the bitch, but I F her like I missed her. Life is a bitch and death is her sister. Sleep is the cousin. What a effing family picture. Should the teacher have been suspended, Joe?
Well, the audience appears to have answered for me. I don't think I have mixed feelings about this. I don't think there's any question about this. The teacher had to be suspended. I think this song is great. It is full of similes, puns, metaphors, wordplay. I would like this class to study it just so I know what Wayne means when he says real G's move in silence like lasagna. I want to know. I want to know. It deserves study. But at the same time, parents have a point. You can't put this kind of material in front of their kids without their permission.
They're listening to it in their headphones when they're ignoring us.
But
Are
still,
you serious?
I agree that the kids are listening to it anyway, but you've got to get the parents' permission to put material this raw in front of their kids.
Agree.
Wow.
My kid is in 8th grade. He's 13 years old. I would have no problem if his teacher wanted to do this, but I think that, you know, and the teacher, by the way, was doing this with Lil Wayne because the kids were just not paying attention to Shakespeare. They were not paying attention to you know, the real poets of our times.
And I can tell you all the dirty parts in Shakespeare, too.
But I can
There are
tell
dirty
you,
parts.
you can say a lot about Lil Wayne, but he is a poet like many rappers are.
Agreed.
You know, it's a form of poetry. And sometimes these stupid kids only pay attention when you get down to their level with material they can relate to. I, as a parent, would like to be informed that this was going on. I would have been one of the parents to give the teacher a thumbs up, but I would also want that teacher, after softening the kids, you know, learning with Lil Wayne, to now find puns and wordplay in Shakespeare.
Wendy!
Yes!
She should have not been suspended. She should have been fired.
Teachers need to stand behind their... What?
Y'all, listen, this is what bothers me the most. This is what bothers me the most about this, is that she's a female, and this song is so degrading to women. And I just think until we stand up for ourselves and treat women with respect and lift them up, that's what bothers me the most, is it's a female that thought this song was okay.
I think hip-hop can be a great educational tool because the kids do respond to it.
Yes.
But I probably wouldn't have chosen that song. How about a Jay-Z? How about a Nas? How about a Common? How about a song that's a little deeper, a little more meaningful, doesn't talk about threesomes?
Yeah.
You know, I think that would be the way to go.
I'm sorry that she was suspended.
And the clean version.
And for you school administrators, you need to stand behind your teachers more. Thank you all for being here, all three of you. For more information about our panelists, go to wendyshow.com. Up next, everybody, I'm going to head into the audience with Dr. Rachel from The Doctors for a special edition of Ask Wendy, the relationship edition. Welcome back, everyone. You know, since it's Valentine's Day, it's time for a special relationship edition of Ask Wendy. Joining us is the new co-host of The Doctors. She's a physician and a sexologist. Say hello to Dr. Rachel Ross. How you doing?
How you doing?
Let's get started. How you doing?
How y'all doing? Okay, so I haven't had sex since I broke up with my ex, like maybe 2 months ago.
Okay.
I don't want to go through the hassle of finding a new partner who satisfies me and I'm also comfortable with. I would just let him know I just want to last Valentine's Day romp, and then that's it.
No.
Go ahead, you're the guest.
No, he's an ex for a reason. Don't call him up. Don't do this one
At
last
12 time. o'clock midnight, February 15th,
Stop getting caught up in Valentine's Day. It's a stupid Hallmark holiday. If you really love somebody, if you really want to give them flowers, if you really want to get the smushing down, then you do it the other 364 days of the year too. Leave that alone.
Making an excuse here.
Thank you. Who's next?
How y'all doing?
How you doing?
I'm Connie, and I have this single girlfriend, and she is constantly passing up great guys that I introduce her to because of the size of their feet. So is there any correlation between the size of the feet and the size of the...
Now, this is a myth, actually. It's not the feet. It's the hands. It's the hands.
No. And from what I heard, it's not the full hand, it's the thumb. It's the thumb, girl.
Look at the shape of the thumb and look at his nose to see if he's got a wide base nose.
Oh yeah, big nose is good.
Yes. And a mushroom-shaped thumb. Look for the head of the head of the thumb to be shaped like a mushroom.
Oh!
And then that means you get a mushroom-shaped everything else. So tell her to get rid of the feet thing and look at the hands.
Where have you been all my life?
I could have saved you some
Yes. Good luck. I've always known that foot thing was a myth, girls. How you doing, Pinky?
How y'all doing? Oh, okay, my question is, I have an ex-boyfriend who's now in a serious relationship, but he calls me all the time for hookups and sex, and I just want to know, should I tell a girlfriend?
How ex is he?
Not about a year.
Okay. And are you still hooking up with him?
I used to about 8 months ago, but I stopped.
Okay, so you've stopped hooking up with him,
Yes.
you're done with him. No,
Yes.
you're not going to create any extra drama by calling any girlfriends. We don't do that.
Right.
But just be very clear with him that
We
you're
don't?
over. No, we don't call girlfriends.
We don't even send him an anonymous telegram?
No, we don't do all of that. That's just extra drama. You just want him to stop.
But
So be
even
very
that's what I
clear.
wanted to do, stop.
You can't send mixed messages.
Here's here's part of your
No
problem.
drunk texting.
You are cute as a button.
Thank you.
You know, you're very young, and you have to learn how to say it like you mean it. And part of how you do that, you start with the finger, you flare the nostrils a little bit. Look, let me tell you something right now. Next time you ring my phone, I'm ringing your girl, and I mean that. I don't want to have sex with you anymore.
Thank you.
You see? Okay, how you doing? You know what I mean? Doctor, you must come back. This is Dr. Rachel, and her show, The Doctors, airs weekdays. Check your local listings. Up next, our eye candy of the day. Don't go far. I've got a diva fan for Sophie Medina. Here you go. She's my eye candy of the day. Tell us quickly about your look. I'm loving the jumpsuit.
Thank you, Wendy. I'm wearing Papa Red for Valentine's Day. My blazer is from Forever 21, about $30. My jumpsuit, H&M, about $19.99. My shoes, DSW, $59.99. And my accessories are from Lorna from the corner.
I love it. Congratulations, Sophie.
Wendy.
Thank you so much for coming here today.
you.
We'll be right back. Don't go far.
Thank you.
Before we go, I have one more Valentine's Day treat for everyone in our audience. No, not the guys. You're not bringing them home. I'm talking about what they're holding in their hands. You're going home with delicious cupcakes from our friends at Magnolia Bakery. I want to thank today's guest and my fabulous co-host, my studio audience. On Monday, we've got music superstar Suavemente. Mark Anthony will be here. And of course, the juicy hot topics. I love you for watching today. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy Valentine's Day. And I'll see you next time on Wendy. Bye.